この矢は必ず当たる。来る。無駄だよ。
Every protagonist know themselves best, and of course they are better their own way with abilities they wield, but when it comes to teammates, they may not be happy with the way you do things and can consider you an overall weakling to then kick you out of their party or group. But it won't be that long, however, until that protagonist returns and proves to pretty much everyone who doubted him wrong in the first place. Today's video will be continuing to recommend 10 anime where the main character is banished for being weak, but comes back as a savior. If you are new around here, then please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel with the bell icon turned on to stay up to date with the latest anime news and recommendations right at your doorstep. Now, without keeping y'all waiting, let us begin with the video. Starting this list off with an anime by the name of Unlimited Psychic Squad, developed by Studio Manglobe in the year 2013. It's fast-paced with lots of action scenes, sarcastic moments, sad moments, and pretty much everything you can ever think of. But when I first saw the first episode, I knew for sure that I was really gonna enjoy this anime. It has that compassion side towards it where not many action animes have it so early on into the anime. The protagonist, Hugo Kyosuke, is not your typical hero. Rather than, he can be seen as an anti-hero with the way he dresses, the way he acts, and the words he speaks and the action that he commits. With his silver jet hair and floating around the city, he is a man of many mysteries, especially behind that devilish smile of his. Even from the beginning, he seems to have, devious plans from his head to plot his revenge on those who betrayed him. Now we're coming towards Radian, developed by Studio Lurch in 2018. This is a very underrated shonen with a very interesting story, but many claim it to be kind of a poor adaptation, even though I myself actually really liked it a lot. The story takes place in a fictional world where monsters exist known as a nemesis. They are creatures with catastrophic powers that fell into the world of humanity and causing devastating damage. A young man by the name of Seth actually survived the catastrophe and vows to hunt down the nemesis as a sorcerer and one day hope to bring peace in their world. So begins his quest to find the legendary Radiant, the origins of the nemesis. Oh, this is so exciting. Just like how Asta from Black Clover wishes to become the Wizard King, Seth has quite the similar dream of wanting to become the greatest sorcerer and prove to everyone that his kind aren't bad people at all. Who would have thought that the author of the so-called series known as Redo of Healer is the person who wrote the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated? A brilliantly plotted isekai series of an anti-hero on a mission to kill the hero of the other world. Isekai reincarnation stories, as far as we've seen over the past year or two, have realistically boomed up, with a lot of varied concepts from being the stereotypical hero to even animals of all kinds, and this booming trend will continue to be very popular as time passes on. An old man being described as the #1 assassin in the world who is loyal to the organization he works with. They ended up actually betraying and killing him, sending him to another world, but he is still retaining all his skills and knowledge from his previous world into the new body of a child named Lu. A noble child of an assassin family, a perfect fit for someone like him to accomplish his new mission to defeat the hero. Moonlit Fantasy is for sure one of the best isekai series out there. It's a little messy of an anime, yet it works. It's funny, it's enjoyable, it has good twists on the tropes, and it has a lot of relatable characters. People will complain about the harem trope of the two girls constantly fighting over the protagonist, but it all just adds to the comedy, which I personally really love to see. The premise sounds interesting, and although it's not really something new since it's more like a mashup of tropes with occasional twists, it isn't boring at all, and it actually lives up to the expectations of the hype as well. Main character ends up in a different world, but the goddess of that world in question ends up hating him and trying to torment him because he doesn't meet the standard of being a handsome, and she just calls him ugly all the time. She sends him to a deserted place full of monsters only, and he has to work his way from there on his own to find the humans. This right here is actually one of the very first Chinese anime that I've watched, and I have to say that despite of myself not being used to hearing Chinese back then, I found this anime very intriguing, and I'd say any person who loves a good storyline, this feels like a good action-packed anime that is worth a shot. I would say the story is still a diamond in the making. Also, the plot development and the way the story has been portrayed will keep you intrigued throughout the entire series. There's constant action happening in a story where humans and spirits find a way to coexist together, and only those rare soul users with guardian spirits can enter another world or dimension called Requiem Street. Think of it like a people being able to summon their own spirits and use it in battle, kind of similar to like maybe Shaman King, if you have ever watched that. Kemono Jihen aired back in 2021, and it's a fairly underrated shonen with elements of mystery behind the world full of demons. The protagonist is actually quite special. He may appear like a normal-looking human, but he wears some sort of an amulet left behind by his parents to suppress his hungry form of a demon. Without it, he will pretty much be basically an uncontrollable demon on the loose. He will also be joining a detective agency to help with solving mystery and problems with demons and try to locate his parents since they abandoned their son and left him behind for some reason unknown. Everyone can sometimes develop fear against someone, and that's very normal, but doing that to the greatest hero in existence who saved countless people from the wrath of the demon lord and banishing him from the kingdom is probably the worst thing any human being can think of.
これは採用間違いなし。
採用に決まったらだボケ
I'm Quitting Heroing is a story of Leo, the hero who was left off of his heroic duties and wishes to join the army of the demon lord whom he defeated countless times and wishes to help rebuild what he destroyed. Not many, however, like Leo, especially the demon queen herself. And, you know, somehow Leo needed to prove himself worthy to actually join the villain side. His backstory is where things get so interesting, but telling you all that would probably spoil the purpose of you watching the show, so do give this one a shot when you can. The practice of using a background story episode as its opener isn't really too common these days. It's what we get from the very first episode as we meet the Incarnates, soldiers with the ability to transform into supernatural cool-looking beasts. They are essentially living weapons of war, but it didn't long for the show to unravel the war drama that adapts the overall story tone into an unsettling conflict. Other members of the squad have now gone rogue, terrorizing people due to them losing control, and now the captain of the team swore an oath to hunt down each and every one of them if they were to ever go on a rampage as they are now. Very cool story full of action, revenge, and also betrayal, and it is made by Studio Mappa back in 2019. to say that Bloodivores is somewhat of a decent anime adaptation based on a Chinese manhwa with okay art and animation overall, but it's truly not the greatest thing that I've seen in my days. While many people are quick to judge on calling this anime one of the worst creations and adaptations simply because of its source material and relatively unknown producer, I actually found myself finding this anime quite enjoyable at times. It really has kind of a terrible story with little to no character development, which pains me to say this because I was so looking forward to this back then. At points, this anime doesn't really make sense, such as the rules and regulations the characters put out and then break it the next, which is so odd, but I guess it's like every man for himself so they don't get killed by the demons. Other than that, it's really up to you if you do wish to give this one a try.
それに不可能って言葉は好きじゃなくてね。
Now finally, to end this list off, I'm recommending to you all is The Fruit of Evolution. This anime currently has its second season running for the winter 2023 season, which so far I'm finding very entertaining. But this is an anime about a class being isekai to another world to train and become heroes to defeat the calamity known as the Great Demon Lord. However, one of the members of the class, being the protagonist, is always bullied and was shoved aside everyone else, sent to the middle of nowhere to where he had to find his own way back while everyone else trains as heroes. Like every anime that builds up like this, however, is a twist, and that's where he finds a fruit of evolution and gains immense power to level up so fast after defeating just a few mobs to becoming overpowered. Now he has to try and unite with his classmates and help them defeat the Great Demon Lord.
そうですか。
Looks like you just made it to the end of the video and witnessed 10 anime where the main character is banished for being weak but comes back as a savior. If I have managed to leave any anime out in particular that you thought would be a great show on the list, then please let me know in the comment section down below, as I'd love to hear your very opinion, or just comment down below what you thought about the video in general, as I always appreciate the feedback. So please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one.